Hey, what's up, everybody? Tim Albrecht here, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ask a YFP CFP segment of the Your Financial Pharmacist podcast, where we feature questions from you, the YFP community, to be answered by one of our very own fee-only certified financial planners. Please note this podcast is intended for educational purposes and should not be considered financial or investment advice, as we do not know all the variables to one's personal situation when answering a question. Before we jump into today's question, a shout out to our extraordinary YFP financial planning team that makes this segment possible. Your Financial Pharmacist offers fee-only comprehensive financial planning services that are customized to the pharmacy professional. So whether you want to pay off your student loans, make the right investment decisions, or simply build a solid financial plan, we'll help get your income working for you rather than the other way around. You can learn more by visiting yfpplanning.com. Again, that's yfpplanning.com. Okay, this week's question comes from Jojo in the YFP Facebook group. Questions about 529. Is it better to find a 529 not in your state that has no fees, or take the tax deduction from your residing state but with the higher fees associated with the 529 plan? Jojo mentions that they're in the state of Michigan. Tim Baker, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a tough one. And it definitely is going to depend on the state that you're in, kind of your tax bracket, et cetera. I typically lean more towards, if there is a tax benefit, that if it's close, I'll lean more towards using that state that you're residing in. But it's a sliding scale. So some states, the plans are really kind of horrific. So I would, not touch them at all. Other states, they're in the ballpark at least. Most people don't know, just to kind of back up on 529s. 529s are an investment vehicle that allows you to save for education expenses, similarly to how we save for retirement. So it's a pre-tax account at the state level. Mm-hmm. So if in the state of Maryland, or in the state of Ohio now, because I just opened up 529s for my two kids since moving out here. We have the Maryland 529 that we're going to be moving over to the Ohio 529. Now, Ohio's is a highly rated 529, so typically lower costs compared to other states, not a whole lot of fees, and you get a decent tax break. So I think it's $4,000 that we can deduct per student or per account per year. That for us is really a no-brainer. Maryland's was similar, but I think the deduction was less, $2,500, I think, per dependent that you're contributing with. Some, they go by tax filer, so you can do for a married filing jointly or a single filer. So it really depends on the state. So Jojo, to go back to your question more specifically, if we look at something like the Michigan 529 plan, it's, from what I see, and I use this website, and you can use it too, savingforcollege.com. It's a 4.5 out of 5 star rated fund. The fees are highly rated, meaning that they're low. The performance is 4.5 out of 5, which is pretty decent. And I believe this is through TIAA, which is, again, a good platform. The big thing for Michigan residents is your tax deduction, if you're single, is $5,000 per year on your Michigan state taxes, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And for joint filers, it's $10,000. So the other plans that would be out there would have to be pretty overwhelmingly great for me to say, maybe not use this one. So again, one of the ones that I typically will compare it against is the Nevada 529, which is a Vanguard platform. Again, not necessarily knowing, a ton about your financial plan. The Michigan one, and I know we have a few clients that are in it, would be something I would probably lean towards. Mm-hmm. Again, just like 401ks and other retirement plans, they're not created equal. So you definitely want to do, what you're doing now, do your due diligence and ask the good questions and do some independent research before you make that decision. But the tax benefits for this, I think, would outweigh any additional fees that you might pay elsewhere. But it is, I think, a highly rated plan, when all things are, said and done.
Great stuff, Tim. And 529 is a topic that I'm sure we'll be talking more about in the future on this show, as we know it's of interest to much of our audience. And Jojo, we appreciate the question and your engagement in the YFP Facebook group. And for those that are not yet a part of the YFP Facebook group, we'd love to have you. Lots of pharmacists all over the country, eager to jump in, help one another, share wins, ask questions. It's really just a fantastic community. If you have a question, we'd love to hear from you. You can submit that via email, info@yourfinancialpharmacist.com, or you can submit a voice recording by going to yourfinancialpharmacist.com/ask YFP. Have a great rest of your week.